What's going on, guys, and welcome back to our Surviving Java series. And I decided to start our episode off up here on top of our treehouse, and that is mainly because of the lava noise that's in our base in our storage area where we usually start our episodes off on. It is very, very loud, and it usually revolves me having to turn down my volumes immensely in order to record in there, which unfortunately I am actually going to have to do today at some point, because that is exactly where we need to go. The plan for today's episode is there's an issue that I keep on running into, and that is each time I come on the server, I tend to just sort of be idle and just do little bits and pieces, just like random stuff like working on pathways and resource gathering and just stuff like that. Like, not working on projects is like probably the better part of my time, around about 70 to 80% of my time. And the reason for that is that I get stuck with a really bad case of sort of indecisiveness, where it happens to me like when someone gives you like a questionnaire, and the question, you know the answer straight off the bat by just reading the question. But then when they give you a whole choice of answers, you start questioning yourself about what the actual answer is. And that is the situation that I keep on running into with projects. Is in, I've got far too many projects constantly on my mind that I want to work on, and then when I come on the server, I can never decide what I actually want to go and work on. So today we're going to be creating a multiple choice system, and we're just going to have a whole board of different projects, and we're going to let the multiple choice system decide what we work on each day. Now, I have named 64 items, different project names of different things that I want to work on. Some, like we've got a lot of the zoo randomizer, and that is so it gives greater odds on us having to work on a zoo project. Like, we've got 6 options for the industrial district projects, and we've got 5 options for the ancient city project. And that's because in that area, I don't know specifically what I want to build, but I do know there are numerous things that I can, should, and probably will lean to build in. Like the industrial area, off my head, there's hundreds of farms that I can put over there, not to mention finishing off the bulk shulker loaders for there. The ancient city project is only around about 40% done, if that. And I know at least 3 different projects that I want to work on over there. And obviously the Yuzu randomizer, we've still got, I think, 52 more mobs to put into our zoo. And then we've got a whole bunch of other different things like industrial potion brewery, mega wart farm, wacky chicken, wacky pig, and wacky cow farms, raid farm, the witch hut farm, train station renovations from underneath the zoo building, charged creeper farm. So there's a lot of options, and so it's just a case that I don't really have to come on and then question myself for days about, oh, what do I fancy working on this week. It's more, I just go there and I use the randomizer, but I actually need to find somewhere to put the randomizer. It's a relatively big thing, so I need a board of an 8x8 and then the redstone for the actual randomizer. So what I'm thinking is, if I put it in here with the board, that way it's near our storage room. The randomizer, obviously, it's not, well, the redstone on it is unnecessarily big, to be honest, and unnecessarily complicated for a randomizer of just 8, but it's a fun one, and I like just how random it is. So what we are going to do is clear out an area over here, and then put the randomizer and our selection board in, so that way we can start deciding a lot easier what we want to work on. So let's jump into a time lapse of me quickly knocking this out, and depending where it lands on, we may just do something else small to finish today's episode off on. But I want to get this done just so come next episode, what I'll probably do is at the end of each episode, I will use a randomizer, so that way we know exactly what is in store for the next episode, and I can sort of start prepping for it. And it's not so much of like a spoiler, because obviously if I use a randomizer at the beginning of each episode, the thumbnail is just going to give away exactly what it is before I've even used it. So it's like, you'll go through the process of watching me use it, and it won't be interesting because you'll already know where it ends up landing on. I think is probably the best way. And if you're wondering how comes I came to that conclusion, that is because Clowd is doing the same for the zoo selections that I didn't even think of. Like, obviously the bat enclosure, was a bit of giveaway that I was going to get that on the randomizer, and that is because the title of the video was Bat Enclosure. It was a bit of a dead giveaway, but this should be big enough. Obviously not for the redstone, I do actually have to clear out a bit more of an area behind, but otherwise it should be fine for the board and whatnot. I do actually want to put in a false front wall to cover it, because obviously I don't want it being obtrusive. Something similar like that, just like a doorway that leads to it, but for the time being we can sort of clear it out a little bit more. But yeah, nevertheless, enough of me rambling. Hop into a quick time lapse and let's go. Swear to God, these goddamn slimes are just... I am really going to have to do something about them soon. They're just non-stop, because everywhere around here is like lit up or spawn proofed. They're just non-stop spawning here. I've got Steve up here as well, which obviously isn't increasing the allocated mob count for this area, which means increasing slime spawns, because if you look at my minimap in the top right, you can see the amount of slime heads there are around me. But nevertheless, I've got the room done, so what we can do is head over there and I can show you the inner workings of what it's all about. So we've got our multi-item selector here, which is pretty much run off the randomness of activating and the activation of just a redstone ore block. I'll show you the redstone workings behind that shortly. And then we've got our wall of 64 different projects. Now the Wither Skulls are the zoo randomizers, they're for the zoo projects obviously, so we have got more of them, because obviously I am planning on doing one of them every few episodes, so I thought if I sprinkled them throughout the board, we've got the odds of it being, I think it's like a 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 shot of it actually landing on one of them. But we've got some pretty interesting ones, like the clay farm, which I've not actually done before, an auto amethyst farm, a super smelter system, train station. We've got the warden farm. I have no idea how you're meant to do them. Dark oak tree farm, no idea how to do that. Dripstone farms, wall farms, although wall farms are pretty basic, it's just something that I've not personally built on a server yet, and I'd like to have one that works and functions the way that I want it to. So the idea is that we spin this, we've got the numbers along the bottom, it will land randomly on a number. The first number will be along this side, second number will be along that side, and then it's just activated by right clicking this redstone block, and then this thing will start spinning along. Now while that's running, I can show you how it all works. The redstone is it looks a lot more complex than what it is. That was actually really quick, so we can see what number that lands on shortly. So the redstone looks a lot more complicated than what it is. It's literally just 8 hoppers running into one another, and they've got a singular item that goes round. So it can only land on one output at any given point. The reason why the redstone looks so complicated is because I've got 8 lines running into a line of 8 blocks, and I'm having to soft power the redstone lamp so it's not powering the ones next to it, so it gives the correct effect. Now obviously this sort of randomizer can be done with one better by using just a standard sort of dropper and dispenser system, and have items inside the dispenser that obviously give off different power levels, which is probably a better way of doing it, a much more compact way. But this is redstone wise, as far as technicality goes, this is pretty simple. It just looks a lot more complicated than what it is, and I do like it being reluctant on the randomness of our redstone ore block. So we've got a 5, so it's going to be somewhere along this line, which is really worrying because a few of these are really sucky projects. The Witch Hut one is obviously here. I'm dreading that one coming up because it's such a big project. Ink Farm, Nightmare, Industrial Brewing thing. Back to the industrial area wouldn't be terrible. The new improved copper farm and the Sculpt Block farm isn't the worst ones in the world. And then we've obviously got a zoo project one on that line as well, so let's see what hell is in store for us. Now with the redstone ore block, the sort of randomness of it activating, deactivating, it works in a similar fashion that the growth tick on crops works, that every single tick in the game the crop's got a chance of growing sort of one progressive stage at a time. Now the same thing happens with redstone ore block, that it's not time dependent, it's every single tick, and then it checks the sort of function. I don't know why that has now just stopped. Like it's turned off, but there's an item that... Okay, so this should actually be a repeater, so it's actually this line here. That's my fault on the redstone. I obviously didn't check my workings on it all that great. Because I forgot, because I was using a sword in the test world. The power level of a sword going through hoppers is obviously a much higher output than a single item that can stack into 64s. Which means I can actually swap that item over, but for now, just so we can see which one it landed on, which is this. So what is it, 5 and 1? 5 and 1 is a zoo project one, which, you know what, isn't the worst one in the world. So what we can do is remove you, and this can be our... we actually now have to go over to the main zoo building and use the randomizer over there. I'm just thankful they didn't land on the witch hut, but you know what, before I go over there, let's get a non-stackable item, say a minecart, and we can replace that singular block, because that was just... I don't know if it's going to work, because I'm fairly sure all of these ones tend to have repeaters coming out of them. It was just that other one that didn't, this one here. But for the time being, we can just swap that around, so that way it gives a much higher output redstone wise. But yeah, this is our randomizer, so that's one little sort of project sort of ticked off our list. And now we can head over to the main zoo building and see what's in stock. Now, if it's a really difficult and complex one that's going to be done, I'll probably leave it for the next episode, and then we can find something else small to sort of work on for the rest of this episode. Mainly because I know it's around about 10 or 15 minutes into the video now, and with how much I ramble on, it is probably going to take a little while longer. But I know that Clowd was here. I don't know if he's he's put the ones back in there. I don't know what he's got on his next one, but yep, they're all in line here, so we can hit this button, let them all feed into here, and let's see what we get. Please, nothing bad, please, nothing bad, please, nothing bad. With a skelly. That's not the worst one in the world, actually. I have to have a think about the type of enclosure, but that is probably going to be for our next episode. It's a little bit kismet, considering that we're using with the skelly skulls as our Yuzu randomizer choice thing. So yeah, that's a little bit freaky, actually, considering there's like 50 odd still left in them droppers. Let's see just what other hell it could have been. Pandas, piglin brutes, that would have been a horrible one. Snow golems, endermite husk. You know what? None of them other than the piglin and piglin brutes would have been too much of a nightmare. With the skelly ones, I can't see it being too much of an issue. The only issue I think we're going to run into is getting them over to an enclosure that I build. But what I'll do is, in between this episode and next, I'll design the enclosure and we can work on that next episode. And then at the end of the next episode, we can use the randomizer. But for now, I will have a think about what we can do. Hopefully something entertaining that we can do to sort of wrap today's episode off with. Like, we built that randomizer and we've got a full wall of 64 projects that we can work on. Yeah, let's get a puddle jumper. And head back over to our tree. Every now and again, I still just go down this hole, just because I can't be asked to use the ender pearl station, because it's just sometimes quick. Oh my god, slimes. So let's put you here and then you here. It's not the worst one, to be honest with you. That could have came up. If I had a witch hut one, I'm dreading, because I've gone through so many design concepts for the witch hut farm. But yeah, we've got quite a lot of projects that we can work on, and now it's being decided for us. So no more is the days of me coming on and scratching my head about what to do, except for today, obviously, because now I need to think of something to do quickly. I will probably have a... Oh my god. I'll probably have a cut here, try to think of something fun that we can finish today's episode off with, and then I'll bring you back. Alright then guys, so I think I found something that we can do quickly, sort of wrap today's episode off on, and that is, I need to actually fix one of the zoo enclosures, if I can even remember where it is. Where are you? You are this way. It's the farmstead enclosure. We keep on having incidents where lightning striking is turning our pigs into zombified piglins. And I'm not too sure why this guy is in here, but I do know for a fact that these zombified piglins should definitely not be in there. It's also killing our chickens that are usually here. So I'm going to have to put some sort of roofing over this. Like, this thing wouldn't be too bad just having the trapdoors as sort of like roofing coming across here. Maybe have some fences just coming up here just to hold up the roofing. That way it should prevent that. We did try to prevent it with lightning rods dotted around in different locations, including on the roof, and it's not stopping them from getting hit eventually. Hopefully a roof over them will prevent that from happening, but in order to do that we are actually going to have to get rid of these guys. So goodbye zombified piglins, and you buddy are not meant to be in here in the slightest. I have got a whole bunch of leads on me, so let's drag you out here. Come on. Really? But there's a fence right there. Why? Why are you doing this? Can they not fit through fences? Okay, apparently not. Completely forgot about that. You actually need two fences to do them, don't you? You can stay over there. And I will be having to do the same for the chicken coop. So let's get the bits and pieces out. I have actually got a wood chest somewhere, if I can remember the colour of it. Where are you? Anyone see it? Have I left my wood chest? Oh no, there it is. Ooh. Okay, and then we are going to want a crafting bench. Yep. And let's grab the spruce wood. Spruce wood. We need to make sure that we leave at least one in them slots there, like so. And then grab some sticks. And then make some fences. Where are you, fences? That should be more than enough. And then, do apologise for that. I usually try to have my phone on silent. Although I do say that and I never seem to do it, which is just unfortunate. But let me just quickly reply to this. Okay, my phone's on silent. They are now crafted, and let's see if we can't adjust this enclosure like so. And we're going to want it to come up by, I do believe, 2. So 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and then from there we want to go like so. Okay, let me grab some force blocks. That. Just so that they're all facing the right way, otherwise it'll bug me. I'm not too sure how this is going to look, but I'm sort of running out of ideas on how to stop these pigs. So I know that Cloud's replaced them once and I've replaced them once, but yeah, they just keep on getting wiped out by lightning, and lightning rods clearly are not doing the trick. And because we're in this area so often, whenever it is raining, it's a fairly frequent occurrence that they are getting hit by lightning, which is just annoying. Let's do that. Wait, yep. Okay, great, I need more. And you. We're definitely going to need more than that. There we go. Maybe if I use like campfires, so then it has that sort of wood effect. I think I've used that effect somewhere. Yeah, just above the windows I used it on this build. Maybe if I'd done that it might look better. Because that just looks really, really flat, doesn't it? We do this and grab some more half slabs. Just so it looks like it's coming off of there. It doesn't look terrible. But we are actually going to have to do the same for the chicken pen as well, unfortunately. Let me just quickly do that. You know, it doesn't actually look too terrible. Like this one doesn't look too bad, but I think having the campfires may look better. But that could be something that we could change later on. For now, I just want to make sure that it is actually functional in the way that it's meant to be working. We have actually got a whole shulker full of eggs, and I'm fairly sure that just crushed the... Yep, it did, of course. That was my bad. So, wait, stop getting in the way of me throwing the eggs then. Oh my god, stop running in there. Okay. I think 5, I think 6. There we go. That should be fine. That's them replaced. Now I actually have to go out and look for some pigs. And in a jungle, that is not the easiest task in the world, because if you look at my mini-map, all that you'll be able to see is ocelots everywhere. But yeah, I'm going to go running around, and once I've managed to spot some pigs, then I'll probably... Oh, is that one? That is one. Oh, ow, that's a tree. There's one just like around here-ish. There we go, that's one. Which isn't too bad, you're relatively close. Come on, buddy. And then I just need to get another one, and then I'll breed them up. It shouldn't be too dangerous doing this, but this is something that I've been meaning to do for ages, because them zombie piglins have been sitting in there for the better part of like the last 2-3 months, and it's been bugging me each time I walk past. Let me just drag you over here. Thank you. Come on. Okay, yeah, let me get these in and let me get them bred up. Once I've got them in place, I'll bring you back. Alright, I finally managed to get a second one. The second one was miles away as well, which is really annoying. We have also got a whole sugar of carrots. So what I can now do is, I'm fairly sure it's carrots to breed these guys, isn't it? Yep. Hey, baby pig, can I just feed you a bunch of carrots? Make you grow up quicker. Oh my god, how much carrots does it take to make him grow? Well, that was 62 carrots. By the way, I sold these carrots from Psychological Space. I haven't actually got a carrot farm yet. Oh, there we go. So about a stack of carrots to make it grow. Doing too bad. I'm going to breed these up until we've got like maybe 6 or 7 and just pray that this actually does the job. But that's going to be something I'll do in between episodes. I've also got some other bits and pieces to do in between episodes. Like I did actually start working on the pathway that leads from this path, which is next to the spider enclosure, over to the turtle enclosure. I've got the basic path down, I've not done the detailing work, and then I cleared out the forest over to a new enclosure, which I'll probably show you next episode, because I don't think Cloud's released that episode of his yet. But yeah, I'm happy to actually have these guys back in. Now we've got all of our farmstead animals back in place. What the thing that's a little bit surprising is that the chickens keep on getting wiped out. Is they're either despawning or they're getting wiped out or they're getting eaten by ocelots. I don't know, because obviously we're not really here watching them permanently. But the rabbits are perfectly fine. Now I'm assuming that maybe I would have thought that if an ocelot was getting in here or maybe munching them through the fences, I don't know, do ocelots eat chickens? These are all questions that I have no idea about. We can probably find out actually, because I'm fairly sure we've got some ocelots just sitting over at the zoo building. So let me just go over here quickly. Because there's just ones that when I was building here, they wouldn't leave the area, so I just threw them in like a little floor pen thing over here. And this way we can see if they munch on chickens. Oh, they do eat chickens. That's probably what's going on with the chickens then. I may have to try to figure out a way of preventing that then, because I'm assuming that's what's killing off the chickens. Which does make a little bit more sense. I was a little bit confused why they were dying, but not the rabbits, if they was getting hit by lightning. Now, I'm about 8% certain that ocelots don't kill pigs, because pigs wander around in the jungle, and I caught a couple of these and walked them past ocelots. But yeah, maybe if we put like fences on this section here, and then the other sections up here, just over here, just to stop ocelots from wandering in and out. I think may have to be the case, because we can't be having that. I don't want to have to keep on coming here to replace the chickens. We could probably replace the fences with like stairs, upside down stairs going around, but I'm not too sure how that would look. I'll try the fence gates on either entrance piece and hope that means that they won't be able to munch on our chickens. Are you guys ready for, you know what, to really help if I had carrots? No, they're all still on cooldown. But yeah, nevertheless, hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode. We've got the project lined up for next episode, which is going to be our Wither Skelly enclosure. I've got some ideas, and I've already been tinkering around in the test world with them ideas, but I've got bits and pieces doing between episodes anyway, like repopulating the pigs, make sure the chickens are still safe. I've got a whole bunch of these chests sorted about where I've been doing pathways, but I also need to work on that pathway and get them done, because otherwise it's just going to start bugging me. But nevertheless, hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode, and hopefully I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye bye.